It's an embarrassment of riches. The PC version of Terraria just got another patch. That's right, PC Terrarians are now on Terraria 1.4.1.2. That said, blink and you may have missed it. The patch was mentioned in a Twitter post, but was mostly released without much fanfare, all things considered. Relogic's Line Force did have a comment or two, however. The patch notes are indeed up. They've been appended to the end of the introductory post, however, I can post them here too. This was a remark he made in the thread for the 1.4.1 patch. I'm gonna just go ahead and scroll through what they classified as changes and adjustments. The tweaks that will probably be noticed the most will be the NPC Happiness Tweaks. Being a feature that's new to Journey's End, or 1.4, it makes sense that they fiddled around with it a bit. The additional happiness that they've given NPCs should make things a little easier for us when building settlements here and there around the map. Assuming, of course, that we want our NPCs to be happy. I know not everyone will. Well, what else is there? Well, it's a lot of relatively minor stuff, to be honest. The visual fix for capes appearing while on a mount is a good one if you're into the vanity stuff, as is the fix of the Spectre goggles not interfering with hats. They've really thrown a bone to those of you who are particular about your Terrarian's appearance. But for the rest of these changes, as I said, pretty minor. The game's basically done at this point. But there were some other changes as well. This is just what they classified, as I said, as changes and adjustments. I counted 59 bug fixes with this 1.4.1.2 patch. Not too shabby. I'm not going to list them all here, but if you want a few highlights, well, you got them. Fixed an issue where NPCs and cats would sit in the same seat at night. Was that a bug? Aren't pets supposed to do that? Cellardor96 wrote, "No longer realistic, immersion broken." Agreed. Another bug fix was fixed an unusual exploit allowing you to force teleport other players. Now, if you were clever enough to learn about this and exploit it, I really hope you had fun. It sounds like a colossal amount of fun before they patched it, force teleporting other people. I wish I could have done it. Another one was attempting a music-related fix for an issue where users cannot increase their music volume above 0%. This may also potentially fix some seemingly unrelated launch crashes which actually stem from the same root issue. Crashes and not being able to listen to the game's music? Sounds dreadful. There were more bug fixes, as I said, 59 in all, of course, so if you want to read the whole list, just follow the link that I'll include in the video description below. What else was there? Well, balance changes. Some big, some not so big. Here are the highlights according to me. Only one change was made to ranged. We are assured that it's actually a buff, so if you take the time to use this strange weapon, it'll be more powerful from now on. They promise. Note all the disclaimers they included with this. So, yeah, Super Star Shooter buffed, they assure us. And here's a biggie. Not a good biggie, a bad biggie. Summoners will not be happy about this one getting hit with the Nerf bat, but c'est la vie, I suppose. So, rip Obsidian Armor. You know, from a percentage point of view anyway, some relatively big nerfs there. And I think the Milkman said it best with, "No, not Obsidian Armor." I know, right? But to make you feel better, here's a crafting buff. Those who hate farming for chlorophyte ore will probably love this change. It won't help you craft bullets, but it'll speed things up pretty much everywhere else in the world of chlorophyte crafting. So that's pretty helpful change, I would say. And then finally onto some mount changes. All buffs, again, I'm happy to report. So if you use either of these mounts, enjoy. Both the Celestial Starboard and the new Black Spot mount have been buffed. Of course, the black spot mount had been nerfed in the last patch, so it sort of offsets it a little bit, but hey, good news is good news, right? And again, I'll link to the patch notes if you want the whole list of balance changes. Balance is really Line 4's thing, so if you want someone to thank or blame for this, it's probably on him, for better or for worse, but you know, someone has to take the heat, right? There's, of course, plenty more I didn't cover in this video. I'll leave with this back and forth by Line 4s on the official forums. Nebular Vortex Cortex wrote, I still find it really weird that Obsidian is the only whip main summoner armor. Come on, why not make more armors buff whips as well rather than minions? Line 4s responded to that with time constraints mostly, given that Obsidian armor change was a very last-second addition as it was, and wasn't even a new armor. There's always, quote, one more thing, unquote, we could add. The arguments for it go on, but eventually a line ends up having to be drawn. In this case, I was happy we got the Flink's fur set in and the Obsidian armor change to flesh out that lack of pre-hard mode coverage. Summoner is actually pretty well covered game-wide now. One can always add more, but it's better to prioritize the parts that are the most glaringly lacking in my opinion. So that's the lay of the land for PC Terraria 1.4.1.2. I'm assuming that these changes will eventually trickle down to console and mobile ports of the game. I really get the impression that Relogic will be putting their true creative energies on a new project going forward, so while, you know, the coders and Line 4s are working on tweaking, you know, the balance and fixing some bugs, for the most part, I think the grand vision stuff has moved on from the game. So, if you want some big news, I think we're just going to have to sit tight for whatever Relogic's next project will be. They've given some hints on it, and I've high hopes for whatever it is, but I do think it'll be a little while before we find out. Anyway, happy Veterans Day, everyone, if you're watching this on the 11th when I'm recording it, and enjoy PC 1.4.2 if you're playing that version. Take care, everyone.